That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon, you want one quick question?
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
Yo. What's up, man? My name is Rashad Milligan. Tay Hitchcock, excuse me, dropped a new album today. I forgot all about it until I seen him say, I dropped a new album today. And I was like, dang. I listened to K3's album, though. And K3's album was very interesting to me. It was. I didn't listen to Ken Carson because I don't listen to Ken Carson. So I'm not going to act like oh yeah, that new Ken hard, bro. Destroy Lonely Heart. But yeah, K3 dropped Mellow Maniac. And some people said that this was produced, like the entire thing was produced by Pierre Bourne. Like it was a Pierre Bourne / K3 project. I haven't seen her confirm that, but I've seen it from different accounts. I can see the wonderful thing about the internet is you can Google. So I'm going to go ahead and see if this is actually a true thing. It's true. It looks like it's true. No, but they're citing Twitter, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's true. They're only citing Twitter. I'm trying to see if there's I don't see any like viable sources saying this. And that's not even a diss to K3. It's just K3 didn't even retweet one of the things that said, yo, this is Pierre Bourne's album. And I didn't hear any of his drops in here as well. So that also made me like, what's going on? But regardless, Jordan, what's good? Jordan always stopping by saying what's up, showing some love, man. Shout out to Jordan for sure. But yeah. I'm sorry. I'm getting off track. It's late. I was watching Cadillac Chronicles, so I got kind of thrown off or whatever with my time. But we're here now. The beginning of it. Walk 'Em Down was already out. Alice at Magic was already out. And then so the Goku, Nikki, and Let's Do It, those were, and then Irritated Freestyle, those were, how many songs are those? 4 songs that I never heard before from her. And they were all like the same K3 sound of just kind of like the aggressive party rock, like I'll fight you music. And I like that. I'm not even gonna lie. And it was like midway through it, thinking of like, okay, if I was to review it, how am I gonna review this and things of that sort. And I was like, I feel like a lot of people, they can't really separate the subgenres of the genre of rap and things of that sort and appreciate things for what they are in the world that they're in. So K3, she makes, like someone else was saying, they were like, y'all hate too much on K3. Y'all hate fun. Like it's just fun. It's fun music. It's party, like mosh pit. Sometimes you just want to rage. Sometimes you just want to hear the guitar and just, sometimes that's just what you want to do. And I feel like K3 does a sensational job of providing that type of party music, fun music, and it sounds good. Like as long as like the beat is good, obviously the beat is kind of like the biggest part of that type of music. But like if the rapper's flowing with the beat within the beat, and beat selection is a talent within itself, I think it's all good to me. But there does come a point where that starts to get a little old. And I'm thinking about what she was saying, what she's been saying lately. She said it when Tyler, the creator, first dropped Chromacopia. And then when she saw Tyler, I think it was either his listening party in LA for Chromacopia or it was his concert, one of his 6 shows in LA or wherever she was for the show. She said, I saw Tyler Creator perform live. I want to be able to do arenas like Kim one day, but I understand that I have to make a little more personable and real music. And then she kept reiterating that. She was like, I want to be able to make thoughtful and thought-provoking music. So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, when is she going to stop this, or when is it going to transition to, is she at least going to attempt to make that, kind of leap or whatever, and just kind of work her way up, like start off doing something that comes across as more thought-provoking and more personal and I hate to say lyrical because people put a negative connotation to it, but lyrical, and then get better from that. Just jump out there, figure it out, rap better, rap better, rap better, and then you'll get there one day. So I was ready to kind of like turn this project off, and then we got to Pretty Like Me, and I don't even know. She might have. This might be kind of on purpose. These lowercase, Nicki's capitalized, Alice and Magic's capitalized, but they're all lowercase. And then these, even though the love you is lowercase, these are kind of a little uppercase, the first and last words of the song. And I don't know, she might have done that on purpose because that's exactly what she did, was what I was talking about, of her taking that chance and jumping to, okay, I'm going to get introspective. I want to be a little more personal in my music. I want to go beyond just partying. I want to actually talk about stuff. And she's talking about it in Pretty Like Me. And it got to the point in the like beginning of They Love You Kind where I was like concerned for her. I was like, oh no, like this kid is depressed. Yeah, man, it's really when artists get very vulnerable, sometimes it can be a scary thing to listen to as a listener, because I don't know, I really digest the lyrics. Like I really, what I'm saying, take them in and things of that sort. So when you're talking about like the only time I ever feel anything in life is when I take these drugs, and yes, I'm successful, but now everybody expects something out of me, and I have to shoulder the weight and the expectation and the financial burdens of an entire family in a city. Like I don't know, it's a lot, bro. It's a lot, and I'm like, geez. And when they go like, if it weren't for music in this blunt, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, geez, that's the only thing holding you together? The song that I'm listening to currently, you writing that and creating that, and the blunt that you're holding in your. So what it say if someone came in the studio in the booth, right, and like smacked down your hand with the blunt in it, and then stumped on the blunt, and moved their foot to it, putting out the little fire, right, and then pouring water on the mic. Like, then are you like, what I'm saying? Is that the end for you? You know what I'm saying? It's just things like that. True. It just goes back to Will Smith talking about the pursuit of happiness on Drink Champs as the co-star or the star of Drink Pursuit of Happiness. All this stuff, like, if you say if it weren't for this, man, I don't know where I'd be, or not even where I'd be, but if it weren't for this, I'd be gone. I wouldn't be on this earth no more. Like, that's crazy, bro, because everything that we see with our own eyes are fleeting. Everything that we see with our own eyes can be taken away from us at any single given moment. You know what I'm saying? And that shouldn't be something that we just like, you know what I mean? It's scary, bro. So I hope K3 is fine. And if she's not, I hope that, she works her way to becoming okay as a human. This was something like I was at I did a video. I recorded a video on my phone so I wouldn't forget this point. But I went to this show that, the first time I interviewed Anicia a couple of years ago, it was at Underground. It was a little festival. They had Tyler F&J there. Tony Snow was headlining. They had a couple other artists and things of that. Spook performed for the first time that night. And Dono, she also performed that night. And, it was just a great lineup of underground artists and things of that sort from everywhere, all over the country. And yeah, man, there's a point here. One of the kids, he was up there rapping, and he was rapping about like a heartbreak. And he was like, I ain't left the house in 3 months. I don't even eat at a regular hour anymore. And it was crazy. It's like, I just cry and cry when all my homies ain't looking. And then he got off the stage, just smiling, dapping everybody up. I was like, bro, are you okay? And he was laughing. He's like, oh, you talking about that? Yeah, I wrote that song like 6 years ago, bro. Like, Forget that girl. Like clean version. Forget that girl. We moved on in life and things of that sort. And then he saw me at another open mic like a couple months later, and he's like, "Yo, what's up?" And I was like, "Yo," and then he was like, "Yeah, bro. He was like, we already met." I said, "What?" And he said, remember you came up to me and you asked me if I was good. I was like, "Yo," everything like that. We locked in again and stuff like that. Shout out to him, by the way. But yeah. I'm saying all this to say, like, sometimes artists, bro, they just be making me feel like, yo, is you good? Daddy Joe, I think that's her name. It's like DVDDY Joe Jo. She's from Michigan. She lives in Atlanta now. She does a lot of cosplay content and stuff like that. Like, uh, she's into that anime world and stuff. And so I listen to her music because she makes music too. And on the surface, it was like, okay, this is an abstract, like poetry, kind of free form type of spoken word over some gothic dark beats. Okay, cool. And then you get deeper into her catalog, and it's like, geez, is this what you thinking? Like she was like, I just, it's like some violent stuff, and it kind of reminds you of like J. Cole when he said, anybody is all you gotta do is push them to the limps. Guess not. Last night we pulled up in that's not the words. I mixed the words up, but you get the gist of it. Yeah. But Pretty Like Me and They Love You Kind, these are my two favorite songs on the album because I felt like she tried something new. She tried something different. And she wasn't scared to. It might have been a little fear by putting them at the back of the album instead of the front of the album. She gave them what they wanted at the beginning of the album. Okay, I was stopping. No, I was okay. Okay, then I was in BK3. Everything like that. That's our whole like thing. Like we get it, we got it. Signed, sealed, delivered. But yeah, man, these last two, I rock with them for sure. She took a chance, and that's something that she wants to do. And I'm all for artists making music that they want to make. Like if you got on with trap, if you got on with some screamo music, but you want to make some introspective rapping, and you want to start from there and start from the bottom of that side of rap, of that subgenre, and build your way up, you can become a loop rapper. Like Dalen Gideon's a loop rapper right now, but 10 years ago, he was making trap music. It was balling like a piston every time. Like change calling, I'm calling to go. Like that's what he was rapping about. And now it's like, I don't even pay for rent. I got an old mortgage. I do my due. I pay my bills on time. All my homies bossed up. We in Vaseline. No, I mean Vaseline like Italy. Like that's how he raps now. And it's like you can change and rebrand at any moment you want to. Earl Sweatshirt always kind of rap in the way that he raps, but like he changed his entire sound after some rap songs. After like discovering Mike up in New York, right? So I don't know. I'm all for that. I rock with it. K3, keep doing your thing. I'm not gonna rate this album yet because I just listened to it once, and I was like, it's currently like 2 a.m. Central. I probably listened to the album like 11 a.m. Central. So it's been a whole almost day. So I definitely want to give it another listen and kind of sit with it some more before rating it. I haven't even rated I did kind of rate Saba's last joint. But it was the same thing. I didn't have enough time with it to like just full on give it a rating and stuff. And I'm gonna listen to Tay's tomorrow, so I'll probably come back with a K3 and Tay rating. Don't hold me to it, but yeah. All in all, I listened to a couple other songs. I listened to the Lil Baby Quavo song, a couple different other songs. All in all, I still haven't heard a song since I listened to this one released yet. And that's that dang Jalen Josie, bro. New Girl. Oh my gosh. I listened to it like probably like 5 times a day. Imagine Jalen making it. Like she probably listened to it like 80 times a day before it was released. Love that song. Shout out to Jalen Josie, bro. Like I said, song of the summer. Trust me. Just wait for it. I wish there was stock in music. Like, because I'll probably make some money. That sounded very, very arrogant. I apologize. I'm sorry, Mom. That wasn't humble me. Sorry, Jesus. Soulja Boy, he responded, oh, he has to pay 4.25 million to a defendant, his former assistant, in an alleged SA case. You see Soulja got his collar pop. Meg asked for a statement. Meg's been out there every day in LA. Meg, if you guys don't know, or even most of y'all probably know, but she got fame from covering the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion trial. She was there for the ASAP Rocky, I was about to say Rihanna, but ASAP Rocky Relly trial. And she's been out there, like the only one out there for the Soulja Boy trial. She also did the OMG Girls trial. I want to say she did the OMG Girls trial as well, where they got the money to where T.I. was like, I'm retired from rap. Anyways, Soulja Boy.
Think about the verdict.
Today, I stand before you deeply disappointed in the verdict delivered in my case. I firmly believe that the decision made in court was not based on facts or substantial evidence, but rather on factors that were outside of my control. The truth was overshadowed by the involvement of individuals such as the jury who were not present during the events in question. And I feel that the system allowed external influences to shape the outcome. Furthermore, the use of Jane Doe as the identity of the accusers raises serious concerns about fairness. Keeping these individuals anonymous while I'm forced to face public scrutiny creates an unequal playing field. I believe this entire process has been tainted by a system that is not designed to protect the rights of the accused. I want to make it clear that I'm innocent. This case was never about justice. It was about money and personal gain. And I will not let that stand. I am committed to filing an appeal and fighting for the truth to be revealed. I will continue to stand by my decision and believe that I did not commit the crimes I'm accused of. Thank you to everyone who has supported me during this time. I promise that I will fight until the end to clear my name and expose the truth. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. Would you mind repeating the first three sentences?
Today, I stand before you deeply disappointed in the verdict delivered in my case. I firmly believe that the decision made in court was not based on facts or substantial evidence, but rather on factors that were outside of my control. The truth was overshadowed by the involvement of individuals such as the jury who were not present during the events in question. And I feel like the system allowed external influence to shape the outcome.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dang, man. Meg should have probably told him to put his collar down, though. Let's see. Hey, this said the verdict was wrong because the members of the jury weren't present during the events in question. Anytime someone puts on Malcolm X classes, you lying. Bro, black people don't take nothing seriously, bro. They literally don't. 4 million is crazy, bro. 4 million is crazy. Let me read this story. Because I ain't gonna lie, bro. I feel like if it get to the point, if it's so traumatic to the point of 4.2 million, you might as well just give them jail time. Like, I'd rather do jail time than pay 4.25 million. Man, what are we talking about? Soulja Boy must pay 4.25 million for SB, a former assistant jury finds. The Jane Doe plaintiff received $4 million in compensatory damages and another $250,000 in punitive damages for claims that the rapper assaulted SB in her. Man, nah, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It needs to be, I feel like what you were making with that job, say maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 years at the most. I know for a fact she wasn't making no $4 million a year as no assistant. So say she was making 100. That's high. So 75. Say she was making 75, 100. We'll say 100 for the sake of it's an even number. Say she was making 100 as an assistant. Okay, you making 100. The first year, I was traumatized. I couldn't really get my mind back right to really work. Second year, I was having trouble because, it's like, when's the last time you worked? A whole year ago. Third year, I'm taking you to court. I'm filing legal fees, everything like that. So I missed a third year of work. Fourth year is for me to bounce back from the trauma of the trial. That's being extremely generous, but that's 4 years. 4 years, 400,000. Even that's a lot of money. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how $4 million makes up for what happened to you. I feel like you can't tell nobody, their justice for how they kind of do as a victim and stuff like that. They the ones that had to suffer, experience what they say they experienced allegedly. I don't know though, bro. Like, it ain't gonna be no dollar amount. Like, you need to do time, bro. If you got breath, air in your lungs, bro, it needs to be time. It needs to be time. Like, because I feel like you're not going to learn your lesson for the people in the future. If you really did what I'm saying you're doing, it's cool. The money, cool. I appreciate it, everything like that. And it's making up for the money that I lost from the traumatic experience. At the same time, you ain't learning nothing if you already rich. Like, someone like a Soulja Boy, I have no clue what he's making in 2025. But say Soulja Boy is making 9-10 million in 2025. He's probably making more, but I'm just keeping it on the low end just because I have no clue how much he's making. Say he's making 9, 8, 10 million. Half of that is going to this. That's crazy, bro. But at the same time, he still has 5, 6, 7 million left. So if you still have 5, 6, 7 million left, how are you gonna learn your lesson? That's all I'm saying. What lesson is there to learn? Like, you learn a lesson from doing time, going to the little classes, everything like that they give you. The judge order you to go here, go there. That's how you change. I feel like your mentality and as a person. I don't think you change as a person because you gave a lot of money. Next time he gonna be like, I don't even want to do that for $1 million. I don't know. But Soulja said he ain't do it anyway, so we'll see. But let me read these. A California jury found that Grammy-nominated rapper Soulja Boy liable for claims he as B and harassed a Jane Doe plaintiff while she worked as his personal assistant, lived with him, and entered into a sometimes consensual intimate. Now, see, come on, bro. Come on, nah, bro. 4 million, and we was actually like, man, I ain't gonna lie, you lost me in the first paragraph. I ain't gonna lie to you, Chief. 4 million, and we was already dating, and we was already had a thing going on. So you charging me 4 million for someone y'all know. Y'all know we was rocking at some point. Y'all know she was living with me. Y'all know she was living with me, and we would have consensual, relations. And I gotta pay 4 million for acting the way towards her after we already. That don't even make sense. That's like you get a divorce, right? And your wife or your ex-wife or husband, but I'm saying wife because I'm a man. Your ex-wife sue you for something like this. And you got to pay $4 million to your ex-wife about like, oh, he was pushing up on me. He was being kind of suggestive. Ain't cool being suggestive. Ain't cool. None of that. That's not cool. But $4 million to your wife is insane. Former wife, ex-wife, former, you know what I'm saying? Crazy. That's why if you hire someone, you need to keep that stuff. Look, a lot of people, y'all want to hire people and everything like that. You know yourself, bro. You know yourself, man. You got to keep that stuff professional, bro. You got to keep it professional. Keep stuff separate. Have your friends and have work colleagues, associates, acquaintances. That will save you, because the whole thing of her being an assistant, it throws a whole nother little twist. Excuse me, twist in it. When business involved, and it's like this businessman not being. Anyways, let's get back to it. After 2 days, 2 days? Nah, bruh. 2 days of oh wait, it's just deliberation. The trial been going on for a little minute because I seen the video of him walking out of court probably about a week ago. Anyways, after 2 days of deliberations, the jury announced Thursday that the Crank That rapper, born DeAndre Cortez Way, owes the woman $4 million in compensatory damages. The panel also agreed that Way acted with malice, oppression, or fraud, and awarded her with another $250,000 in punitive damages. I'll say this. I'm not going to lie to you. This part right here, the way that we see Soulja Boy be acting on live and everything like that, I'll say these two, because this one I don't know. But we've seen Soulja Boy, and this ain't no allegedly, this is just what we've seen. Soulja Boy yelling to the camera, tweet, oh man, forget Kanye West. Oh, I love Kanye West. Drake say something. F Drake, forget Drake, this and that. Drake, he do all that. Like, we seen that time and time again since like he been popping for real. Because you know, remember he was beefing with Bow Wow back in like 06, 08. He been doing that since he came out. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I feel like I got justice. Obviously, it's not gonna return everything I lost. I lost way more than I gained. You lost way more than you gained, bro. You got $4 million and you say you. I feel like if it was that bad, why not push for jail time and a criminal case as opposed to money? Like, nah, I want him behind bars. I want him to have to go through counseling. I want him to have to go through, you know what I'm saying, ABC while he locked up, exercises, limited access to the outside world, if any access to the outside world at all. I want him to go through that, sitting there for a year or two and get his mind right. Because where he going right now, I care for him. I love him. This is someone who I used to be, you know what I'm saying, had a relationship with. This is someone who I worked for. Like, at the end of the day, regardless of all the abuse and stuff, there's still that, you know what I'm saying? We had that history. She didn't even say that. She said, I lost more than I gained. You lost more than $5 million? As an assistant? Let me be Soulja Boy assistant. I know he ain't gonna hire me. Let me stop. This is a serious situation, but geez Louise, $4 million is crazy. I feel like I got justice. Obviously, it's not gonna return everything I lost. I lost way more than I gained. My hope is that he doesn't do this to any more women. No, you should push for time behind bars. If you feel like he is that dangerous and everything, it shouldn't be the $4 million. $4 million, everybody take $4 million, of course. It should definitely be, put him behind bars so he could change his ways, change his mindset, have time to think about it. Right. The woman said it was hard to step forward to testify, especially when she had to give embarrassing details about her lowest points in her relationship with Way, and I was grateful that the jury understood. I don't even recognize that person anymore. The person he has turned me into. It made me a worse version of myself. It was like I was in survival mode. Pray for that victim, 100%. Sorry she had to go with what she went through, an abusive situation. You know, you definitely don't want to talk down on victims, alleged victims, whatever the case might be, because you just don't know. A part of, why don't you just leave? No, you're not doing that, because part of the abuse is manipulating you into thinking you can't leave. All right. In their slightly mixed decision, the jurors found that Wade placed the woman in fear and subjected her to SO, contact, gender violence, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Jeez Louise, Soulja Boy. They found the woman also suffered severe or pervasive harassment when she worked for Wade between 2019 and January and July 2019. The jury declined to award anything for the woman's false imprisonment and hostile work environment claims, finding Wade did not deprive her of her freedom or ability to resign. As the verdict was read, Wade looked straight ahead. He appeared to have a faint smile on his face when the clerk revealed the jury has awarded $760,000 for the woman's assault claim. His expression dropped when he heard the jury awarded $1.5 million for the SB cause of action. He left the courtroom with his head down shortly after the clerks said the jury decided he might face punitive charges as well. The district attorney never filed charges. I was never charged or convicted of this criminally. So to be accused of this civilly is beyond me. I've never done any of the things they're accusing me of. I just feel like this is very unfair, Wade told Rolling Stone Thursday afternoon. In a longer prepared statement that he read off his phone, Wade said, I want to make it clear that I'm innocent. This case was never about justice. It was about money and personal gain. And I will not let that stand. I'm committed to filing an appeal and fighting for the truth to be revealed. Jane Doe's lead lawyer, Ronald Zambrono, praised the verdict, saying, we're happy our client was vindicated. His co-counsel, Nima Romani, said Jane Doe was particularly grateful the jury found Wade liable on the SA claims. Those were the ones that certainly caused the most damage. She feels vindicated because he called her a liar. He said she was never an employee, nothing more than a disgruntled, jealous, lying ex. The jury rejected that argument. Romani said that prior to the trial, Wade's defense made settlement offer of $100,000. He said, oh my goodness, Soulja Boy, bro. Soulja Boy, a mess, bro. This is a mess. Not gonna lie, man. Hold on. Let me see. Where we at? Because I want to see this whole Soulja Boy thing. Like, did he ever talk about it on live or something? Former assistant. Did he talk about it on a live or something? Nope. That's just a video. Soulja Boy reveals his former assistant stole $20K. All right. Anyways. We're gonna get back to it. Testifying about his net worth during the punitive damages phase Thursday afternoon, Wade admits he pays $25,000 a month for his rented mansion and owns 5 cars, including a Lamborghini. But he only claimed he made $20,000 late last month and was late to pay his landlord. He also told jurors he has 2 young kids, ages 1 and 2, likes health insurance, and that the SA accusations caused him to lose on a big performance at Coachella. One of his lawyers, Ayang Inyang, told the jury that the extra $4 million in punitive damages requested by the Jane Doe would be crippling and likely lead to bankruptcy. During closing arguments Monday, the woman wiped tears as the lawyer said she deserved $73.6 million in total damages for the alleged horrors she suffered at the hands of Wade. Zambrono painted Wade as a brutal boss who regularly and subjected her to labor code violations and dressed up in non-prescription fake glasses in a suit to lie to the jurors about the abuse. He bleeped her, he punched her, he kicked her, he cut her, he picked her up and slammed her, he choked her, left bruises and squeezing on her arm. He grabbed her head by the mirror and said, no one will love you. Dang, that's terrible. I ain't gonna lie, that is terrible. If that was true of all those allegations, that's terrible, Soulja Boy. Zambrono said the jury of 7 women and 5 men. He pointed a Draco gun at her. He locked her in a room, threatened her family, threatened her, denied her food. So it was on some like R. Kelly stuff. Put him in prison. That's what I'm saying. The lawyer showed the jurors screen grabs of text messages between the woman and Wade. In one exchange on April 20th, 2020, Wade said, I hope you slow. Wow. The Jane Doe responded, you think you can keep hitting on me? You are crazy. To which Wade responded, forget you, woman, and other messages. Oh, man. Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy is not looking good. And other messages highlighted during the trial. The woman texted away, you body slammed me on my head and choked me. I should have just let you hit me. I don't care anymore. I feel lost now. Zambrono said Wade never responded to the woman's text accusations with protests that she was making false claims. He usually ignored them, Zambrono said. When Wade did text a woman, he often asked her to complete tasks such as picking up his food, setting up his computer equipment, and organizing his travel arrangements. Wade also sent disparaging messages like, I hope you catch corona. Ooh. Or I should have, wow. In Wade's defense, the rapper's lead lawyer argued Wade was the victim of an ex-girlfriend advancing a false story for money. The lawyer, Ricky Ivey, argued that when the woman first reported her allegations to the police in December 2020, she didn't tell the investigating deputy that Wade allegedly knocked her unconscious on one occasion and separately smacked her in the mouth and forced her to engage in sloppy. He said her story evolved over time. He also argued the woman could have escaped her false imprisonment at Wade's house when she traveled through airports that were crawling with police. Ivy urged the jurors to interpret one December 2020 message sent by the woman to the as a demand of $50,000 in a Dodge Charger. Soulja Boy, now why are you messing with these type of women, bro? $50,000 in a Dodge Charger to resolve her claims. He called the effort extortion and pointed out one text from April 2020 where he did push back against the woman's claims, telling her to stop texting him police stuff. Plaintiff is motivated by jealousy, revenge, and financial gain, Ivy told the jury. She just wanted to be paid. That's what this case is about. It's not about truth. It's just not. The woman reported her alleged abuse to the Ventura Sheriff's Office in December 2020. In April 2021, the Ventura County District's Attorney Office declined to file charges due to insufficient evidence to prove the alleged crimes. Wow. So instead, he just gonna get $4 million. Man, come on, bro. Over the 4-week civil trial, the jury heard directly from the woman, Wade, several medical experts, a bodyguard, and one of Wade's managers. In a graphic and harrowing testimony delivered March 19th, the woman described the purported bathroom attack during the police raid in 2019. She claimed Wade chucked several guns out of the window into a steep canyon and was trying to dispose of narcotics in the bathroom, where he allegedly spun her around, pulled her pants down, and started doing the thing. She didn't immediately report the alleged attack to the sheriff's deputy who raided the home because she was terrified of Wade and possible retaliation. She testified, I fear for my life. Doe told the jury on the fourth day of the civil trial. She claimed Wade told her he knew where her mother lives and threatened to send to her house. I was scared that he would do to my family. I didn't want him to hurt anybody because of me, she testified. The woman said she was also desperate for food while living with Wade in early 2019. Excuse me. She gathered loose change from the home and gave it to property gardeners so they could buy her instant noodles. She claims she dropped from 140 pounds to 86 pounds before Wade was sent to jail in April 2019 for a probation violation linked to the raid. I didn't feel human anymore. I felt like an animal. When it was his turn to testify, Wade admitted there was some encounter with the woman when police showed up to the door with his $25,000 a month rental home to serve the search warrant. But he claimed that she consented. I asked her if she wanted us to do it, and she did it. He said, she didn't push me away or say stop, nothing like that. Wade, 24, denied he abused a woman in any way, claiming that They bonded during their time together and always acted voluntarily. He said the woman would handle errands for him because he offered her a free place to live, and they struck up a personal relationship, not because she was a paid employee. Did you ever hit the plaintiff in the mouth, bust her lip, or force her to sloppy? His lawyer Ivy denied during the question of Wade's testimony. Of course not. And that's a disgusting allegation, Wade responded. It sounds crazy to me. I did not do that. Wade has been accused of physical and SA by his former girlfriends Kayla Myers and model Nia Riley. See, now this is where the daughter of musician Teddy Riley. See, Soulja Boy, now this is where it goes. You had me until they say you got a history of these allegations. Now, everybody knows you got history of allegations. You on a much shorter leash. You skating on thinner ice than the other ice of the other ice skaters. It's just the way it goes. It's like Zion Williamson, right? Zion Williamson gets into this thing, or his baby moms gets into this thing with his girl or the side chick or whatever the case might be, and it's in the news. People didn't really care because the Nuggets the same day fired their entire coaching staff and general manager, and they said we're going to figure it out with 2 days left to go into the playoffs, right? Still, in New Orleans, when New Orleans is deciding what they want to do with the future of the franchise, they're looking like, I don't know, man. They're looking at that situation a little deeper than they normally would because of the previous accusations and things that he's done. So, going back to Soulja Boy, you get less of the benefit of the doubt when you have a history of this stuff. Wade appeared on reality shows like Love and Hip Hop Hollywood and Marriage Boot Camp with Riley. In 2001, Riley sat down with the YouTube vlogger Tasha K and said Wade threatened her with a blink and kicked her in the stomach while she was pregnant, causing her to suffer a miscarriage. Oh, my goodness. Myers claimed a prior lawsuit that she had a romantic relationship with Wade that ended when he allegedly held a blink to her gun, threatened her life, and what in the world, and assaulted her in her home on February 1st, 2019. A civil court jury found Wade liable for the assault and kidnapping of Myers at a prior trial. Wade is set to begin his 32 swag tour this summer. His first concert is on April 11th in California. Man, he gonna have to do all the shows to make up for that. $4 million. Jeez Louise, Soulja Boy. Gotta move smarter, bro. Can't put yourself even in those positions to be even near those positions, man. All right, cool. MiLaysia Fulwiley. Short video of it. I think she's gonna go to Ole Miss. Coach Yo, Cody McMahon, I feel like it's just the place where she should go. Yeah, I think she should go there. I don't know where she's gonna go, but I think she should go to Ole Miss. Columbia, South Carolina, women's basketball star MiLaysia Fulwiley plans to enter the transfer portal, sources told the Greenville News on Friday. The sources requested an anonymity because no public announcement has been made. The transfer portal opened on March 25th and closes April 22nd. However, a player in the portal can still withdraw and return to the team after a closing date. The 5'10" guard, a sophomore, averaged 11.7 points a game this season, second best on the Gamecocks, who lost to UConn in the national championship game on April 6th. Fulwiley was also on the South Carolina team that went undefeated last season and won the national championship. There was some concern whether or not she would do this after Tanaya Latson committed to South Carolina on Tuesday. With guard Raven Johnson announcing she was returning, a new guard would cut into the minutes of Fulwiley and sophomore Tessa Johnson. Now, I was still shocked by this because they asked her about Latson when she entered the portal, and she said, yeah, I want her to come here, and let's run it back like we did the old times, in AAU. So I'm thinking she with Raven, okay, we want Latson to play with Latson again. It's not the case. Not the case at all. Fulwiley, who was named the SEC Sixth Player of the Year, averaged 18.9 minutes off the bench this season and shot 42.6% from the field and 25.8% from the three-point line. She scored a game-high 23 points in a Sweet 16 win against Maryland on March 28th. Third time this season she scored 22 or more. She had a season-high 24 points on 10 of 15 shooting on February 23rd against Vanderbilt. When Fulwiley chose South Carolina as a 5-star recruit, she became a new hometown hero, just as Asia Wilson had been. Fulwiley went to Keenan High School, just under 10 miles from Colonial Life Arena. She was the first freshman in program history to win SEC Tournament MVP in 2024 after scoring 24 points in the SEC Tournament Championship game against LSU on March 10th. Shortly after that, she became the first college athlete to sign with Steph Curry's brand, Curry Brand. This season, she debuted 2 custom shoes with the company. Shout out to Lulu Kesson for this story. But yeah, that's how I feel about it, man. I was still a little shocked that it happened because she was so adamant about getting Tanai Latson on the team. But yeah, it is what it is now. I want her to go to Ole Miss. I just think it would be great for Coach O, and it would give her a legit opportunity next season to really compete and take that next step and go into the Sweet 16, leave the second round, get into the Sweet 16, the Elite 8 talks. Kind of look like how LSU's been looking the past couple of years. So, yeah, that's what I want to see. All right. Now we got some news. Several dozen Johns Hopkins students' visas were revoked. Shout out to Ellie Wolf for this story. This is from the Baltimore Banner. Shout out to my people at the Baltimore Banner. Y'all know who y'all are. Days earlier, that number was closer to 12. More visas have been revoked for international students studying at Johns Hopkins University, bringing the total to several dozen. The university's Office of International Services quietly shared the news on its website. As of April 10th, several dozen Johns Hopkins graduate students and recent graduates of the JHU graduate programs have had their student visas revoked, the website says. The news reflects a rising number of international students across the country who have suddenly lost their ability to legally stay in the U.S. A recent legal filing accuses the Trump administration of canceling visas for more than 500 non-citizens. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters that some of the visas were revoked because of students' connections to pro-Palestinian activism. Wow. Can't even say free Gaza. We on a corner. We have received no information about the specific basis for determinations, but we have no indication that they are associated with the free expression activities on campus, the message says. The university is also not aware of any arrests or detentions of Hopkins students as a result of the actions. 15% of Hopkins' first-year class is made up of international students, according to the university, representing 83 countries. On Tuesday, Johns Hopkins had shared that approximately a dozen international students had their visas revoked. On the same day, the University of Maryland, Baltimore County shared that 4 of its international students had their visas revoked. The University of Maryland, College Park, also said international students had lost their visas, but did not share the number. 3 Maryland institutions signed an amicus brief on Thursday supporting a preliminary injunction to stop the Trump administration from revoking student visas without cause and arresting, detaining, and deporting non-citizen students and faculty. The University System of Maryland, which includes UMBC and UMD, was among those who signed. Johns Hopkins did not. Crazy work. I'm not going to lie to you. And it doesn't even stop there. This is all in one. Here we go. This is what, you know what I'm saying, what they say. It's what we voted for, as they say. It's what the people voted for. Hold on. Let me pull this one up. I will be there in a second. Give me a second, y'all. All right, we almost there. You're almost there. Is this it? Okay, yeah, I already had the tab pulled up. Anyways, Gannett will stop publishing diversity information citing Trump's executive order. The company also removed mentions of diversity from its corporate site. So just a disclaimer before we start. Gannett is my former employer. That is the USA Today Network. Shout out to Gannett. I had a wonderful time at Gannett. The pay was a bit low for me back then, but I was much younger, with much less experience. Shout out to Gannett. When I was there from 2019, I want to say 2019 to 2021. And that was like the thick of like, I guess, woke, if you will. And so, like, after George Floyd, the company made this like company-wide email. It was like, we're going to capitalize the word black now when we're talking about black people. I'm like, how's that helping George Floyd? But anyways, they also made, Juneteenth a holiday and stuff like that and everything. Ooh, we had fun. But like we had sensitivity training that I remember of like how to deal with people from different backgrounds and how to work with them, things in the workplace. And even though it was like the questions seemed like a lot of common sense of just like general social cues, I thought they were effective and just like important for everybody to take as brief reminders of like, this is how you should act. Don't get too brand new around here, act too cute. No, this is how you need to act in a professional setting, like I'm about to say church, like work. And I don't know, man. Sometimes it did feel excessive of like, oh, another email of another diversity training or another diversity reminder. But all in all, like the diversity initiatives work, bro, and they were good. I don't know how many people know this. Think about sports, right? Basketball and football in general. Yeah, in particular. How much of those sports are black athletes are represented by black people? It's like 70% in football, and then it's probably like 80-90% in basketball, right? So if black people are most of the people who represent the sports, and a lot of people on TV is mostly black, but they're all former players. Okay, the journalists go to traditional media, newspapers, and things of that sort. Can y'all guess how many black sports editors there are in America? Think about it. All the barbershops, all the places, the Twitter communities, the YouTube people talking back and forth, arguing about sports. Do you know how many sports editors there are in America? Black sports editors. There are, let me see how many right now, current. I don't need no former ones. How many are there? There's not even an official announcement about it. I believe Detroit has a black sports editor. The AJC, they just hired a guy from Detroit to come down to the AJC. He's black. He's a black sports editor. Greg Lee used to be one, but he's a teacher now in New Orleans. It's kind of it. I used to be one. I'm like now in kind of like more of a number 2 role at the paper I'm at. There's not many black sports editors. Might be like 5, especially if you're talking about at major metropolitan, you know what I'm saying, areas and stuff like that. Raina Cash, is Raina Cash even in sports? Raina Cash might be, I might give her that because she might be in that position in Charlotte. So Raina Cash, Lisa Wilson, and then the AJC guy and the Detroit guy. Like that might be it in terms of major metropolitan cities with a black sports editor. So yeah. So you can count it on one hand. Think about all the black people who like talking about sports, who would love to have a job just talking about sports, and think on an executive level within that media industry, how many are black people representing, and you can count it on one hand. In 2025, in a big 2025, you can count it on one hand. So I say all this to say diversity is needed within journalism because, as I mentioned in another video the other day, the media, it's in the word, we're the medium between what happens to the people, to the masses. We're the media. So yeah, so we communicate that stuff. So we present those stories, and even though we do the most to check our biases at the door when we're doing our jobs, we are always going to have some underlying biases just based off of who we are as people. We aren't robots, we are humans. And so you might say something about a black person or describe them in a way or show them in a way that a black person wouldn't, because a black person would know, oh, this makes him look like an angry black man. This makes her look like a hard to deal with, hard to work with black woman, a difficult black woman, a loud black woman. You know what I'm saying? Those could be the narratives that you put, not even in just outright literal text, but in the subtext and the context clues and all of those things, right? So because of that, it's important to have diverse storytellers to tell different stories. Like here, like I came from Black media. That was my last job. And Black media, Essence Fest was like one of the biggest things of the year. It's like, okay, BET Awards, week after that, Essence Fest. Week after that, it's usually like Black Tech Week in Cincinnati or wherever it's going to be. And it's back to back like that in the summertime. That's just what I'm saying? Over here, I'm literally in the home of Essence Fest, the whole city of Essence Fest. And it's kind of like just another thing that goes on in the city, like that they talk about. I'm like, no, Essence is like national. Like, this is festival season right now down here. We got the French Quarter Fest going on right now, but French Quarter Fest is low key kind of like a New Orleans thing. Like Mardi Gras, even though people come from all around the world for Mardi Gras, it's still kind of like a specific New Orleans thing. Like, it's New Orleans culture. Super Sunday, New Orleans culture. Market Sunday, Market Under the Bridge, everything like Second Line, all that is New Orleans culture. Essence Festival is like a taste of New Orleans, but really for Black Americans. Like, that's what it is for real. And so, like, the fact that it's such a big deal on kind of like a national scale to me in the Black community, and like over here, it's just like, oh yeah, this fest, Essence Fest, and then we can't do that. It's a big deal, bro. It's a big deal. So, but you need a Black American to tell you in a newsroom, to tell you it's a big deal, so you know it's a big deal. To a large demographic of your readership, your subscribers, everything like that, everybody needs to be represented. Everybody's stories need to be told. And the best way to do that is to hire people of all different backgrounds, colors, creeds, and all these things. So yeah, I guess you heard my stance on DEI with that. Well, in my field of journalism, I can't speak for other fields because I don't work in other fields, but I work in journalism. So yeah, America's largest newspaper chain. I'm just going to read this straight through now that I gave all my thoughts. America's largest newspaper chain, Gannett, will no longer publish demographic and diversity data about its workforce, and has revamped the corporate site to remove mentions of diversity. The announcement was made in a company town hall meeting on Wednesday afternoon. Spokesperson told me the company is adapting to evolving regulatory environment, and then a follow-up email when asked for clarification referred me to Trump's 2022 January 22nd executive order eliminating DEI initiatives and federal agencies and calling for an end to private sector DEI discrimination. Gannett did not specify whether the Trump administration had contacted anyone at the company or asked them to make changes. Major U.S. companies like Amazon, Google, and Meta have rolled back DEI initiatives this year. While we no longer publish workforce demographic metrics or sustainability and inclusion reports, Gannett is deeply committed to our ethical business model. Lark Marie Anton, Gannett's chief communications officer, told me in a statement, when I asked the company to define ethical business model, they said, based on treating all of our employees with respect and ensuring the culture of belonging. Dang, not Trump got the boys. Not Trump got the boys. As part of the racial reckoning surrounding George Floyd's death in 2020, Gannett, which owns USA Today, but I tell y'all, and more than 200 local newspapers, pledged its commitment to diversity, inclusion, and parody of all of its newsrooms in August 2020. That month, it published diversity data for all of its newsrooms and promised to make workforce as diverse as the country by 2025 and to expand the number of journalists focused on covering issues related to race and identity, social justice, and equality. The company published inclusion reports on staff diversity from 2020 to 2023. The latest report from 2023 says 63% of employees identified as white, down from 73% in 2020. In 2023, 33.9% of hires were people of color. We share our fourth annual inclusion report amid the backdrop of global conflict, social and racial discrimination and injustice, climate change, volatile economies, the ongoing impact of a receding pandemic. LaToya Johnson, Senior Director of Inclusion Strategy, wrote in a report. In many areas, we're seeing a disturbing rise in hate, anti-Semitism, xenophobia, Islamophobia, attacks on the LGBT plus rights, and more. Per LinkedIn, Johnson was promoted to the role of Vice President of Global Inclusion Strategy and Employer Brand in July 2024. March 2025, her title changed to Vice President of Culture and Employer Brand. Trump got the kids, man. Dang. Until February, Gannett had an inclusion page on his website, which I accessed through the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine. There is now a culture page, and references to all diversity have been removed. Trump done got the boys. The inclusion page now redirects the inclusion reports. The old page, for instance, featured a quote from Gannett Chairman and CEO Mike Reed. If we don't have an inclusion and diverse culture, we'll fail at everything else, alongside a video. Oh, they done screenshotted it. On the new page, Reed's quote says, "We embrace a culture where each individual's unique perspective unlocks our collective potential, empowering an environment where everyone can thrive and make a difference." This video has been removed. Dang! Before we leave with inclusion, Gannett. At Gannett, everyone can thrive. Crazy. Employee reflections. We celebrate the diversity by elevating the authentic voices of our employees and sharing some of the meaningful life moments. Employee spotlights. This storytelling series amplifies employee voices, sharing personal stories, career journeys, and meaningful moments. Through these reflections, employees offer insight into their unique experiences to shape our culture. Do you know of any other news media company making changes to DEI? Let me be quiet. Shout out to Hannah Tamiz with the Neiman Lab for sure. Salute, salute, salute. But look, that's not all. So from one old job to the current job, Acadiana Advocate. I'll make sure y'all subscribe to the Advocate if y'all want to support me anyway of my day job and things of that sort. Shout out to Ashley White. The University of Louisiana at Lafayette abruptly closes University of Campus Inclusion. The University of Louisiana at Lafayette has closed its Office of Campus Inclusion. This is the America we voted for, y'all. Jackie Robinson being taken off of the website for a short time before being called out for it and being forced to put it back up, right? A request to remove all mentions of slavery and slave history from the National African American History Museum in Washington, D.C. Foreign students who participate in Palestinian protests on campus with their fellow students, having their visas revoked, being forced to go back home to their native countries, and companies who have made progress in presenting a more accurate depiction of the modern day America, now rolling back those exact same things. This is America. Hit it, Gambino. And y'all said that wasn't art. Like, y'all just be talking. I know it's like, you know what I'm saying? People go with hindsight vision, everything like that. Oh, This Is America wasn't that good. Childish Gambino, what was he thinking? I like Childish Gambino, but that This Is America was trash. Whatever y'all want to say, bro. This Is America is still relevant today. regardless of who the president is, if it's Biden, if it's Trump, people still going, this is America. But the plane crashes, the market, the people who was like Trump, that do the stock little trades and stuff like that, they're like, oh man, I ain't got no money. My wallet's empty. This has been the worst day. Trump, what we doing, man? Bro, this is what's going on right now, bro. And some people, like, you know what I'm saying, infiltrated. This is what I believe. This is just keeping it a beam. That's what I believe. I believe some people, this is not fact. This is just me just putting out my little conspiracy theories. Got to be careful with conspiracy theories because you get sued. And, that ain't true. I ain't got no $4 million. I'm not Tasha K. I don't have 4 million yet. Believe in the power of words. But yeah, man, I believe people infiltrated the election by pushing certain propaganda and agendas in there of like, we're so fed up with what Biden isn't doing and what Kamala isn't doing. We're going to vote for the independent party, or we're not voting at all for the president of the United States. And we can't wait to see you lose. That's what one of my friends said. I said, why would you say that? Because now Kamala lost. And now, you know what I'm saying? Now you're just looking stuck with egg on your face. And there's so many people that's in that same boat because I wanted to, I don't know, prove some point to the Democrats. At the end of the day, love or hate the Democrats, it's a two-party system. It's only two candidates that was going to win. It's going to be one or the other. Voting for an independent doesn't make you a higher learning thinker, this or that. You know what I'm saying? It's just throwing it away, bro. And people say, oh, they're saying when third parties throwing your vote away. Yeah, because only one or two people are going to win. Stupid. Sorry for calling you stupid. I apologize. I hope you forgive me. It's like the University of Louisiana at Lafayette has closed its office of campus inclusion. University announced a closure at 5 p.m. Friday in an email to staff, according to documents reviewed by the Acadiana Advocate. In compliance with a federal directive, dang. Nah, this is a dictatorship, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. The Office of Campus Inclusion ceased operations on Friday, the sparse email stated. The office's 2 employees were offered and accepted opportunities at the university's Office of Academic Affairs. University representative said in a statement that the office's website and individual social media accounts were deactivated 8:45 Friday. The Office of Campus Inclusion works with campus and community partners to cultivate an inclusive learning environment that values different perspectives and promotes intercultural engagement, the website stated, according to archive capture of the page. The closure comes as President Donald Trump and his administration target diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts at a higher education institutes across the U.S. Republicans and other DEI critics, including Trump, have argued in recent years the efforts are discriminatory, making white people feel guilty, and push progressive ideas on students. In February, the U.S. Department of Education issued guidance to higher education institutes claiming that all race-conscious policies and programming violated the law. The American Civil Liberties and Union and National Education Association challenged a directive that told colleges to end all DEI programs. They reached an agreement earlier this week with the U.S. Department of Education that prevents the department from enforcing the directive until at least April 24th. This is a developing story. Shout out to Ashley White. This is America, man. This is America. That's it. That's all I got for today. W stream, man. Replays of each segment will be up by some time during the day tomorrow, which will be Saturday at the time, or Saturday, April 12th. And thanks for tuning in, man. Y'all watch it back if y'all want to. In the meantime, peace. Y'all be easy.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Brandon,
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.